What's up, guys? We're here with the Misfit podcast talking about Cycle 4. We're just going to talk with Drew and Seth about what we're going to expect and what we're going to see in the next 3-4 weeks before the Open. So,
What do you want to see, Cody?
Metcon Monday.
And what would Metcon Monday entail for you?
All Metcons. 3 Metcons. 3 Metcons for Monday.
Is that what Metcon Monday is?
I think so.
All right.
Okay, so my goal for the cycle for you guys is to prepare you basically for the worst workout you've ever done. So every year in the Open, you guys get ready to do these, some are short, some are long, but they're usually fairly lightweight, classic CrossFit couplets, triplets, and we've had some single modality things in the past as well. The common thread is after you guys are done, you all collapse on the ground and say, wow, that was the hardest workout I've ever done. And it's not that it's the hardest workout you've ever done, it's that you've worked harder than you ever wanted to work in training. So what we're going to do is try to set you up with conditioning pieces that will enable you to work harder than you've been able to work in the past. So things will be simple, things will be specific, more specific to what we expect to see in the Open. And we will have you retest some open WODs in the past so that you can know kind of what level of an intensity to bring to the workout. And we're just going to let you kind of enable you guys to keep it simple, keep it fast, and prep for another season of what we expect to see in the Open. Pretty simple on our end. You're going to have a Metcon basically every day. You're going to have interval work basically every day, and you're going to have bitch work kind of sprinkled in there. Real simple stuff. There's no tricks to this one. It's just putting in that work, those movements we think we're going to see, and maybe some twists we might see this year with the change in the Open rules, but pretty straightforward, and it's all about the intensity you guys can put into that. So hopefully we do our job and allow you to really max out these workouts, but it's up to you what you guys put into it. As far as strength goes, Drew can kind of enlighten us on how the direction we're going to take with that for this part of the year.
What do you want to see for strength, Cody?
I think it's going to more be like the touch and go, working on things like that.
It's because you've seen it already.
think
What do you
it's
want it to be? If you could write the strength programming, what would it be?
No, I think it definitely should be towards the touch and go, the moderate to heavyweight, things like that. I mean, seeing it in the Open, if it's because of power cleans, snatches, things like that, just fast cycle rate.
Yep. Okay, so he's obviously seen what we're looking at here. The focus is really, as we get closer to the season, is pushing the lifting to be more like it would be, in a Metcon. So we're still gonna, full snatch, full clean every week, but now we're gonna be deciding how much rest you guys have. The reps are gonna kick up a little bit, and they're gonna be touch and go. In terms of the kind of raw strength stuff, you're finally gonna see a little bit of front squat. Most of the people that switch from other programming to Misfit want to know why we don't front squat. When you max out on Friday and your front squat's way higher than it was before without front squatting, you'll know why. Back squat is, for strength training wise, a superior exercise, but now we're getting to the point where those motor recruitment patterns are really important, and we want to make sure that you guys have those. We want to make sure you're moving through movements that you would actually see. Also, something that's a bit of a change from last year, there will still be some heavy deadlifts in there. I would say 2 straight years that we lacked just a little bit each year, programming-wise, in the deadlift area. We have concerns of hitting you guys with all these Metcons and then throwing heavy deadlift in there. Really, your endocrine system can only handle so much. So if we really beat the crap out of you and then ask you to heavy deadlift, it might not work.
And it's not even just heavy deadlift. It's heavy deadlifting with volume. And that's one part of the Open that we consistently see is if they put deadlifting in there, it's volume. Like last year, the weight got heavier, and so did the reps of deadlift. So it doesn't matter if you can pull 500 or 600. It's how many times can you pull 225 to 315.
Right. Luckily, last year we played with a new strategy with Jordan Cook's CrossFit Games training leading up to it, and we were able to kind of mix a little bit of touch and go work and then slide into it, a heavy single at the end. So that worked really well for Jordan. He was able to progress the 2.5% jumps you'll see each week very naturally, and it fit into his programming. And if you saw his programming and the type of volume that it entailed, it's
we got to release that at some point. I don't think
really
anyone's
should.
ever seen that. But
Even just the colors are impressive.
it got pretty wild there. There was a lot of pieces, a lot of variety. It was all over the place, even though it did have some rhyme and reason. But
Yeah. So again, strength, nothing crazy, nothing that you wouldn't expect to see, but we're going to ask you to hold on to the bar a little bit more, and the rest is it's going to be pretty brutal to start. Anytime, regardless of whether the actual volume itself jumps or not, anytime we change a cycle, people really hurt a little bit at the start because, we're asking for different energy pathways, and everybody remembers the first time here a couple weeks ago that they did 4x2 clean complex. It hurts a little bit. So you're going to have the same thing with some of the touch and go work, but being able to touch and go, rest only 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and then do it again obviously translates really well to the sport, and it's about time to get to work. So
yeah, so one thing that we'll talk about kind of is the optional pieces, and I guess I'll ask Cody, because bitch work is only mandatory 1 day a week, and we are going to have 2 other mandatory Metcon type pieces, whether it's Metcon or interval work. Cody, what would you suggest, and to what type of athlete would you suggest they add that third bitch work piece in, and how often would they do that during the week? I'm putting them on the spot, by the way, so let's see what you got.
I would definitely say for 90% of the athletes that follow, I think almost all the athletes should at least be doing the bitch work 3 times a week.
Okay. Why is that?
Because I think that in that bitch work is where it's not you. I mean, you can call it bitch work, but I like to call it more like a mental training. I think it's more of the longer pieces that we do, things like on the rower, things like that. So I think it's definitely an area that everyone could work on.
Keeps you tough.
And it's an area that you don't want to get away from. Exactly. It keeps you tough. It keeps you in there. It keeps you through that. If they do put an 18-minute workout out there, in the open or something like that, it's going to keep you tough for all 18 minutes. So
yeah, and that's actually a really good point. And really the only options you guys are going to get this time of the season are going to be skill work or bitch work for the most part. Occasionally there may be an extra lift, but the lifting is pretty well covered in earlier cycles and in our style that we want you guys to see it for this year. So obviously self-assessment as an athlete or being assessed by a coach, if you have 2 things to work on, one being bitch work and one being gymnastics, obviously you just look at what each piece is. So if you really need the conditioning, obviously bitch work takes a priority. If you're the type that is struggling with the muscle ups or high rep chest to bar or high rep toe to bar, and one of those movements come up, it's probably an easy choice to make to work on that stuff for the day. Do you have any other suggestions, Drew, as to how to choose those extra pieces?
Yeah, I just want to say that, we say it until we're blue in the face. This programming is written for regionals level athletes, and we know a lot of you out there aren't quite there yet, but you're working your butt off to get there. If you do 2 Metcons, okay, so a Metcon and then an interval piece, and then you do a strength piece, and you just don't have it in you that day, or just in general, volume-wise, maybe it could be how you feel, or maybe it could be you don't have enough time, really giving it hell on rowing intervals might not be a reality for you, okay? It might be a reality for Cody and, some of the other guys that we work with, but, make sure that intensity is there. We would much rather see you do the partner gymnastics work, even if you need the conditioning, if that conditioning is too much.
It may not be a reality for someone like Cody either. If you're truly putting into the first 2 Metcons, what I'm asking you to put into the hardest workout of your life every day, then you may not have anything left to row 500 times 8. That might not be there for the day, and you could get a whole lot more out of stringing together toes to bar, chest to bar,
right,
whatever it is. So you really got to make a conscious decision there, not just flip a coin and pick one. It's can be a big change in the open depending on the direction you go with this stuff. Does that sum it up, Cody? Pretty well on that topic?
pretty much.
So one thing we're going to introduce you to, if you're new to following for this season, is something we call a primer. And you've done all kinds of different warm-ups with us that we've written for you guys that were specific to the workouts, the lifts, whatever our tasks or goals may be for that day. We're going to start introducing something that we call a primer. And a primer is basically made just to get you ready, get your heart rate up for a Metcon, and we're going to start introducing them a little more slowly this season. There'll be a daily thing when the open season actually starts. But for now, they're only going to come up before you retest an open or hit an open style WOD. And Drew's going to tell us a little why we use primers at this point of the season.
So this is a pretty complex biological reason, but the easiest way that I like to explain it to people is everybody's been hiking before. You go hiking, you hike for the first 5 minutes, you feel like you're going to die. You don't know why. You've just been sitting in a car. So everybody huddles around a rock, grab some water, whatever. You start walking again. You feel fantastic. And everyone's been there in interval work here in the gym. But basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to spike that heart rate. We're trying to get some oxygen into the blood. We're really trying to get the heart pumping so that your nervous system can adjust to what you're trying to get it to do. If you're in panic mode, your body goes into panic mode and things get ugly. So we want to get that heart rate up. We want to let it settle, and then we want to go. And we've been doing this for open workouts for 2 years now, and the difference that athletes see, you don't get that panic, cotton mouth, I'm going to die feeling in the first couple minutes
It's
of
like
the
a
workout.
mini workout before the workout. It's like a 3 to 5 minute miniature WOD that you hit hard, and then you come back down to earth before you get back to work. It's like the people that work out in the morning. If you get up out of bed at 5 a.m. and walk into the gym, the first time you spike your heart rate, it's like, oh my God, I think I'm going to die. No matter how good a shape you're in, that first heart rate spike of the day is always horrible and exceedingly worse than the rest of it. So it's similar to that. I mean, if you can get that out of your system, calm back down, then your body's ready to start working with what's going on in your body. You're in much better shape. The results will be instantly 10% better in every workout you do. It's a free pass to add some capacity.
The one thing to bring up with the primers is we are going to be changing the order you guys are going to be doing things, or suggested order this time around. With so much outcry from the community, I'm finally going to change the way that I write the site on the days. So there's no suggested order, go through here, go through that, whatever. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A, B, C, D is going to change with the different day. Okay, so like it'll be written in order, so you don't have to go, okay, I'm on this part of the site, I jump down to this part of the site, I jump here.
That's just too complex for people.
Yeah, it gets weird for people, the letters and everything. So I'm gonna make it as easy as I possibly can. Back when we were coaching 100 athletes, I didn't think about stuff like that, but now that we get emails all the time about stuff like this, I guess it's time to switch it.
I guess details matter to some people. It's details.
Time to switch it up a little bit. We are going to be running another Instagram contest. Cody, you want to tell us what the Instagram contest is all about?
Yeah, so it's kind of about this whole cycle coming up with Metcon Monday, things like that. People are always posting 1 rep maxes, things like that, when we all know it's kind of not CrossFit. It's one out of every.
I don't think people know that, actually.
No,
I'm not positive that people know that.
They don't
anymore.
realize that weightlifting by itself is not CrossFit.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. But so we're gonna be doing more of like a Metcon type Instagram hashtag. It's gonna be Misfit Metcon, and we just kind of want to see you guys put in the work, things like that, videos. I mean, a whole bunch of people do really well with taking videos of it, but we just want to see it and make sure that we can look at it and all that. So if you just hashtag Misfit Metcon when you post your videos and stuff,
you can get creative. Show us the before, show us the during, show us the after in 15 seconds, and post your times. Just show us how hard you're working for getting ready for the Open.
Yeah, I'm a perfect example of the cool stuff that you can put on Instagram doesn't translate to CrossFit. Full disclosure on the bitch work, I literally wrote bitch work for myself because of how much a bitch I was when I used to try to do competitive CrossFit. That's where the name came from. So I just see all these people doing these 1 rep max videos, and it's not what the communi's about. It's not what we're trying to do.
They fit into 15 seconds,
They do fit into 15 seconds, and they make you look cool, but we want to see you translate the blood, sweat, and guts from your workouts into 15 seconds on Instagram. We'll send you a nice big fat gear package. Hashtag Misfit Metcon. And we apologize if the audio and video is not as cool as it normally is. Our pal Ted's on the road. The minds, these 3 minds right here, are the ones that figured out what we were doing with the video and the audio. But
it took us 4 times longer to set this up than it did to shoot it. So.
Yeah. So we'll give you guys the first 2 weeks of cycle 4 for Misfit Metcon hashtag. There will be a male winner and a female winner. So get it together, shoot some cool videos. We're not going to give the prize to Tyler McBride. Don't worry about that.
No.
But maybe go to his Instagram to get some ideas.
What's it, like 37 days, 38 days we got to the Open?
Tyler Blue. I got the right amount of tas in that time.
Yep. Anything to wrap us up, Cody? Feeling
No.
good? You
Come on,
ready?
Cody.
Feeling good,
Come
ready.
on, Cody.
Cody tells me almost every day he wishes the Open was starting right now.
Yeah, but this is definitely a big cycle to get you ready for the Open. This is one of the bigger cycles that we do just to prepare you for the Open workouts that are coming, you know, that intensity, stuff like that. So just really take them with intensity, things like that. Don't be just getting through it every day. Take your time in between, hit these with intensity, and the Open will be just fun.
Lastly, I get this question all the time. Cody, 1 session or 2 sessions a day? What do you do?
2 sessions.
He's here for a long
Yeah,
time.
I take my time in between.
1 ultra long session that you can call 2 sessions,
Yes,
basically?
yes.
Fair enough. All right, I guess with that, we will wrap this up for Cycle 4, and we will be back in less than a month for Open Prep, and hopefully we get some good questions leading into the Open that we can address in the next issue of this podcast. Thanks, guys.
Good luck, kids.
Thank you.